What's up guys, my name is Ace and welcome to today's Q&A. If you guys are new to this Q&A series, basically how it works is I answer questions that are left in the comments of the previous Q&A video. So if you guys have any questions for me, it can be about my YouTube channel, it can be about Call of Duty, it can be about gaming, it can be about my personal life if you'd like. Really anything goes. You can leave it in the comment section of this video and then I'll try to answer it in the next video, the next Q&A video that is. I can't guarantee that I'm going to answer every single question. I do have to kind of pick through a little bit, but I do answer most of the questions. So if yours doesn't get answered, then just try asking it again in the next one and maybe I'll get to it the next time. So without further ado, let's hop into the questions because this is going to be quite a bit of a long video, I guess. So the first one actually comes from Caitlin Gaspard. I hope I pronounce everybody's names right throughout this series, by the way. How do you learn the drills that you teach us, like faster reaction timing or accuracy? Well, it's actually pretty simple as far as creating these drills go or coming up with them. The first thing I do is I find an individual, like a very specific aspect of my game that I want to focus on. So, for instance, we have the faster reaction timing drill. That was all based around the fact that I wanted to be able to react faster to seeing an enemy on my screen. I felt like I was kind of slow sometimes. I felt like I'd see an enemy and my brain would acknowledge them, but I just wouldn't send the signal to my fingers to actually react to that enemy fast enough. It wasn't really an automatic thing. So I wanted to focus on that one very specific aspect of my game. So I thought to myself, what would make that better for me? Well, if you actually take away the radar, that makes it so I have to focus more on what's in front of me rather than constantly watching the radar and just knowing where the enemies are going to be at all times. Or at least a lot of the time, you know exactly where the enemy is going to be coming from. So I decided I'd get rid of that mini-map, and because I did that, now that makes it hardcore, and it just kind of happened to be convenient there. It's a hardcore mode because basically you're punished in hardcore if you don't react fast enough when you're like face to face with an enemy. Even with a bot, I set the bots up to, I believe, like normal or hardened bots or something like that. If I don't react fast enough, I'm punished, and it forces me to really think about fast reactions and really react fast when I run into an enemy. So that was the basis of that drill. That's where the starting point came from. Take away the minimap, make it hardcore mode, because if it were double health or something like that, then I don't know, it would be less about reaction and more about accuracy, because they could react first and start shooting me first, but I can use my superior accuracy to beat them out. So I wanted that really fast time to kill for this particular drill. And then from there, I just started playing around with the drill. I played with it for a little bit, and then I found little tweaks that I could make here and there. Like I found the best number of bots, the best maps to play on, and all the little things like that. So that's how my that's how my drills are developed. And it's as simple as that, but it does take a lot of time to sort of perfect the drill. Moving on to the next question, do you have a specific plan for life? Like, what would you do if YouTube ended? Maybe you would have a family. Have you ever thought of it? This is actually going to be somewhat similar to what Drifter talked about in one of his videos. I believe it was last week he uploaded it. I basically follow what he said. I just kind of roll with the punches for now. I do have like a general overall goal of my life. Like I want to eventually have a house. Actually, fairly soon I would like to have a house, and I wouldn't mind also having a rental property that will bring in some extra cash there. And I don't know, I don't really have any specific plans for this is what I want my career to be. 20 years from now I'm going to be doing this career and I'll be at this point in my career or anything like that. I'm kind of just going with the flow, and I feel like that's the right thing for me to do at the time. At least in this day and age. And Drifter talked about this a lot actually in his video. I was actually kind of surprised because it's like, hey, I can definitely relate to that. That's exactly how I do things. So for instance, if YouTube were to just really take off for me and suddenly make more money than my marketing business makes, that would become my #1 source of income. That would be my career, at least at that given point in time. And then from there, could I start businesses based on that? Or can I do other things with that? And will it open up more opportunities for me? I don't know. That's something that I have to see in the future. Or maybe the whole YouTube thing will fail and I continue with my marketing business. Or maybe that fails too and I go somewhere else. It just depends on how things go. We don't know what the future is going to bring. And that's why I feel like I don't want to plan too far ahead, because you might get stuck on something that isn't really all that useful in the future. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. As for starting a family, I'm far from that right now. I'm actually single right now, so definitely not thinking about having kids or anything. I don't even have a girlfriend at the moment. So yeah, that's basically where I'm at with that. I definitely do want to have kids at some point, but I'm not in a rush to do that. Moving on, next question comes from Chris Wayne, and it is, since Black Ops 2 is your favorite Call of Duty, which I said in the last Q&A, what would you like to see Treyarch change in the multiplayer to make it a better game and a more enjoyable experience for the community with their next release in 2015? So this is talking about the release after Advanced Warfare. Basically, a lot of you guys will probably disagree with me or think that I'm way too conservative or something like that, but I would like to see Black Ops 2 with new guns, new maps, quickscoping nerfed. I'm not going to get into the whole quickscoping debate. It seems like that comes up every time I do a commentary talking about any sort of game. I do realize quickscoping takes skill, but I feel like it should take more skill than it does in Black Ops 2. That's all I'm going to say about it. I don't want to see any arguments in the comment section below. I don't really care. That's my view on it. Nerf quickscoping, new guns, new maps. Take out a few things like target finders. Make League play a better system so people don't leave, or people are really discouraged from leaving games, and make it so booting is a lot more difficult, if not impossible. Make League a more balanced, like League play more balanced. And that would be what I want to see from Treyarch in the future. That's, I know, not very innovative, not really stretching the imagination much, but that's what I want to see. Next question comes from The Lone Wolf. Do you sport or exercise in your spare time? Like lifting weights, running, or American football, something like that? I don't actually, I'm not quite as active as I used to be completely honest. I spend a lot of my time on the computer because that's where YouTube is, that's where my business is. So I do spend a lot of hours in the day on the computer, but I do like to work out a little bit, more just to stay in shape rather than actually trying to build muscle or anything like that. Like, I'm not trying to get huge, I'm just trying to stay healthy, stay in shape, stay lean. And that's pretty much it as far as lifting weights go. Other than that, I like to paintball a lot, but I haven't been in a long time. I actually used to play competitively. It's just so expensive to play. That was kind of my #1 active hobby. But yeah, aside from that, like aside from sports altogether, I live on a ranch. A lot of you guys will know that. So there's a fair amount of ranch work to do around here. So like hauling hay and stuff, which is a pretty damn good workout, to be honest. Building fences, just fixing things, all that kind of stuff. It keeps me somewhat active, although I will admit I'm not as active as I would like to be at this point. Next one comes from a friend of mine, The One Boom. Have you ever watched Doctor Who, or do you watch any other shows on Netflix or Hulu, etc.? I have never watched Doctor Who, I just haven't gotten into it. I don't know, maybe in the future I'll give it a shot, but I don't know, I'm not really all that interested in it at this point. And I actually don't really watch Netflix at all because it takes so long to load those videos on my internet connection. My internet connection is so slow that it's just not worth it, or I'd have to watch it in an extremely low quality, and it's just not worth it for me to watch Netflix. So mainly I just watch shows on TV, and I have some like box sets and stuff that I bought. So I've seen like How I Met Your Mother. I've probably seen the whole series like 3 times in the past few years. So that's a little crazy, but I really enjoy How I Met Your Mother. Big Bang Theory's also really good. I've been recently getting into Vikings. I just got caught up on Vikings. Game of Thrones as well. Quite a few shows, actually, I do watch. It's actually way too many. No wonder I'm not very active, but yeah. I do watch a fair amount of shows, and I don't know. Not Doctor Who, though, and I don't really watch Netflix, and I don't think we can even get Hulu in Canada, or that might have changed. I don't even pay attention anymore. So I'll move on to the next one. Alright, next question is, why do you live in the middle of nowhere? So I just said this, that I live on a ranch. We have 80 acres here, so quite a fair amount of land. I know it's not massive, it's not like a huge farm or anything, but we do have a fair amount of land. We have horses, and our nearest neighbor is like 2 or 3 kilometers away, or I don't know whatever that is in miles, mile and a half away, something like that. So we are kind of in the middle of nowhere, and it's just a lifestyle that I've grown up with. We've always lived on an acreage of some sort with some land and freedom to do stuff. It's awesome. I can go outside right now and shoot my gun if I want. I can do that. A lot of people can't say that. They live in the city, they have to go to a gun range, or they have to find a farm or somewhere to shoot at. I can step out my back door and shoot my gun right now if I wanted to. I can go quadding. I can do whatever I want. And I have privacy I'm not going to see anybody if I don't want to. I can see the stars, which a lot of people in the city, they can't see the stars at night, but I see the stars. And it's just those little things that all adds up, and it's just a lifestyle, and it's amazing. So that's why I live in the middle of nowhere. I am planning on moving pretty soon onto like an acreage or a smaller acreage or into a small town or something, somewhere where I can get high-speed internet, and that's basically solely to do with YouTube. So I can do better quality videos, I can stream and everything like that. But I live in the middle of nowhere because it's a lifestyle. Next question, really simple one. When is your birthday? It's actually was last week. It's on July 4th, American Independence Day. And just in case you're wondering, I just turned 24. Next question comes from Jay Mystic. Do you like the idea of plasma weapons in Advanced Warfare? I'll be honest, I am a little nervous about them, but at the same time, I do have faith in Sledgehammer. I feel like they've really been paying attention to the community over the past few years. They've been showing up to various events, like competitive events and everything like that. And I feel like they have been paying attention to the community in a sense, but we have yet to see that. So I have faith that they'll be balanced, but I am still a little bit nervous. I'll just have to wait and see until we actually get our hands on the things. Moving on to the next one. Do you find your YouTube work helps you with your marketing business? I'm thinking helping you present strategy and creative concepts in a simple and concise way. Not being very concise right now as I stumble over my words. Yes, definitely. I feel YouTube helps my marketing business, and also my marketing business helps YouTube. They're very complementary, so I can use my marketing knowledge to grow my channel, because my channel is basically a business that I'm marketing and trying to get out there. And then with YouTube, I'm learning a ton of different strategies and techniques and everything like that, and it makes me more confident as a speaker as well, which definitely helps when I'm dealing with clients. And I don't know, there's a bunch of technical skills with YouTube that I'm learning. I actually just started doing ads for clients, or at least I'm going to be. I'm sort of working at that. I'm planning on doing video ads for clients, like maybe even TV commercials that I can make, and that all comes from my knowledge of video editing that I've developed while doing YouTube. So definitely they both help each other out. There's various skills from each that are transferable. Next one is just a quick one. What capture card do you use? I use an Elgato Game Capture HD. And I absolutely love it, by the way. Not sponsored by them, I just thought I'd throw that in there. I absolutely love the capture card. Next up, I'm from Australia. What do you think of the country, and would you like to go there? Australia is actually one of the places on my list to go before I die. My list is pretty big though, and to be honest, Australia is a little bit down there on the list. It's not one of the places that I'm like planning to go in the immediate future, but I would eventually like to do an Australia and New Zealand trip at some point. Maybe within a few years, I'm not too sure. The next one is, what button layout do you use? I use a tactical layout. Pretty simple. Allows me to drop shot, basically control all of my character's movements without taking my thumb off of any thumbstick, which is why I love using tactical. Another quick one, what is your win-loss ratio? I assume you mean in Ghosts. I'm just going to go with the most current Call of Duty. My win-loss ratio is just under 2, it's like 1.9 something, and it's been sitting there very consistently for quite a long time. And I'm actually quite proud of that just about 2 win-loss ratio, considering I play solo probably like 99.9% of the time in Ghosts. In Black Ops 2 I play in parties a fair amount, but in Ghosts I play solo almost all the time, and I'm constantly doing challenges and things like that, so I'm quite proud of my almost 2 win-loss ratio. Next question comes from King of Sly Kingdom. Do you see YouTube as being a career for you? If you would have asked me this 6 months ago, I probably would have laughed and said, no, it's something that, that makes me a little bit of money on the side, and it's a fun hobby, but over the past 6 months, like I said, my growth has been pretty incredible, and I don't know, I'm not making a ton of money at this point, but I do see this could be going somewhere in the future. I actually anticipate that this will end up being my primary source of income, unless there's some sort of massive change with how YouTube works, or some massive change in my life, or something like that. I do anticipate this may be a short-term career for me. That's the thing with YouTube though, I don't see myself 20 years from now making gaming YouTube videos, but I don't know, maybe within the next year, this may become my primary source of income and my career. Moving on to the next one, do you plan on being a competitive Call of Duty player in the future? No, I actually don't. I assume you mean like playing MLG events and like actually competing in a very competitive environment, not just playing competitive rule sets. I definitely see myself getting into competitive rule sets, especially if Advanced Warfare makes competitive as fun as Black Ops 2 did and as easy as like the League play was in Black Ops 2, because I'm not really a fan of clan versus clan and Ghosts, or even just competitive Call of Duty and Ghosts, but I was really getting into competitive Call of Duty and Black Ops 2. So I see myself playing the competitive rule set a lot and learning a lot about it, but I don't feel like I can compete with a lot of these younger guys. I honestly feel like I'm just getting a little too old for it, and my reaction time and my gun skill just doesn't compete with a lot of these younger guys that are playing right now, especially a lot of the professionals. So I don't ever see myself becoming a Call of Duty pro player or anything like that. I would love to maybe coach a pro team or something. I feel like my knowledge is there and I would be able to actually manage that, but I don't know. We'll see what the future brings. I don't really have any immediate plans for anything like that. Next one comes from a friend of mine, Stuart. Taking bandwidth out of the question, what other games would you play, console and PC? So like Dota as an example for PC, or Battlefield for console. So what he's mentioning here is basically I have a data cap every month for my internet of 60 gigabytes, and I use every single one of those gigabytes every single month. And that's mainly for uploading YouTube videos. So because of that, I'm limited in a lot of other ways. Like, for instance, I can't really play a lot of PC games just because downloading a PC game will use up like half of my monthly data, which is ridiculous. I just can't do that. I already use all of my data. There's absolutely no room for me to download a 20 gigabyte game or something along those lines. And then on top of that, there's always updates for those games that are like 3 or 4 gigabytes. So it doesn't work for me. And I would see myself playing a few more PC games if I did get more data per month. But I don't know, not nearly as much as Call of Duty. Nothing would ever take over Call of Duty for me, I don't think. At least not that I can see coming up soon. Call of Duty is still going to be my bread and butter, and there's something about Battlefield where it just doesn't do it for me. It's not the same as Call of Duty. Maybe I just have a really short attention span or something, and I need that constant action, but I don't know. I always enjoy Call of Duty more than anything else, and I feel like that's where my time is best spent if I'm going to be playing video games. Moving on to the next one, have you ever been to Denmark? Yes, actually, very briefly though. It was kind of an interesting story. A friend of mine and we did a Europe trip, I don't know, 3 years ago now. And we were actually hitchhiking from Stockholm to the Netherlands. And it was supposed to take a few days to do that, which I think it did take a couple days. And we did end up just outside of Copenhagen. We actually caught a ride with a truck driver. It was pretty awesome. He took us through a couple ferries and stuff, and we ended up just outside Copenhagen. He dropped us off on the side of the highway there because he was going a different way. And so we thought, oh, we're not too far from Copenhagen. Let's go check out Copenhagen, spend a few hours there, maybe even spend the night in Copenhagen. And it would have been a lot of fun, I think. But we actually got on a bus. It was like kind of like a city bus, but not quite. And we thought it was going to Copenhagen, but it was going the other way. So we ended up going the opposite way. We didn't want to spend our time getting back on a bus, paying the money again, going all the way back to Copenhagen when we hadn't really planned on going there in the first place. So we just decided to keep moving on, and we just kept on going. And so we did miss out on Copenhagen. So that's one place that I do want to actually return to and visit a little bit. But we were there very briefly. Very briefly. Next question is, you really seem to understand what you're doing in terms of YouTube. Is it just you, or you learned it from someone, or watching someone specially? A lot of my YouTube knowledge, like I said before, comes from my marketing background. I have a business degree. I've been running a business, a marketing business for, I guess it's like 3 years now. It's been a while. Yeah, about 3 years of marketing experience, which I know isn't a ton compared to a lot of people, but I have that, and then my business degree. I learned a lot about stuff that applies to YouTube and growing a YouTube channel, or just growing a business in general. And also on top of that, just everything that I'm constantly searching for. I'm always searching for ways to improve. There's no like one specific source of information that I get things from, but if I see like an article that relates to search engine optimization and how I can improve it just slightly, because I'm already quite good at it, but there's always room to improve with that, then I'll read up on that, or read up on video editing, or just various things like that. I'm always working to improve that kind of stuff, and it's not something where I get it from one source, and it's not something that I just have naturally. I'm always looking to improve and stuff like that. Moving on to the next one, do you prefer clan versus clan or public matches in Ghosts? To be completely honest, I haven't even touched clan versus clan in Ghosts. I've tried watching some competitive like MLG stuff, a few events, as well as some streams, and I just don't like competitive in Ghosts. I don't like how it works. The time to kill is just too low. The maps just don't seem to work out very well. I just don't like it. I have no interest in it. So I haven't even played clan versus clan. I'm sure I will try it out soon, but I don't really have any interest in it at this point. So just public matches for me in Ghosts. So the next one comes from Viperman, and it is, are you actively seeking sponsorship to pay for additional bandwidth? So this is coming up again to get more data. I'm not really actively seeking any sponsorships at this point. I don't feel like I'm quite big enough yet to work with some of the big companies. I do have a little bit of a affiliation with Control Freaks now. I do have a discount code, so I thought I'd just mention it here. I'll throw it in. 10% off Control Freak products, and I will leave a link to my affiliate portal in the description, which will automatically apply that code. How this works is you get 10% off, and then I get a small commission from it. So that's my entire relationship with them, just to be completely clear with you guys. So if you guys are interested in buying any Control Freak products, which I've been using since long before I got any affiliation with them, been using them for many years, and I really do support the product. If you guys are interested, then I will leave you that link to my affiliate code down there, and I'll get a small commission, you'll get a little bit of money off, and Control Freak gets the rest, so everybody wins. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Now to answer the rest of it about buying additional data or bandwidth or whatever, I actually can't get any more data. I tried to get a second internet line put on my place because everything is wireless to my house. I don't have cable at my place because I live in the middle of nowhere, like I talked about earlier. And I couldn't get a signal for a second line, so I have the only internet line I can get. And then on top of that, I have the best possible plan that I can get. There's no upgrading from where I'm at. Once I run out of data for the month, they throttle my connection down to almost dial-up speed, so I can barely watch YouTube videos. I have to let it load for a really long time. I absolutely cannot play video games. It's impossible. Like, I can't even join a game when I'm throttled like that, and I can't upload YouTube videos. And there's no way of buying more or extending that data for the month. 60 gigabytes is what I get, and that's the end of it. So unfortunately, that's where I'm at now. Hopefully, like I said, I'll be getting an office or an apartment or something like that where I can have high-speed internet. And I can make some better quality, more videos, as well as live stream a little bit. Moving on to the next one, do you like role-playing games? I do, but I don't. The thing is, I find role-playing games, at least for me, this is how it works. When I get into a role-playing game, I do get into it quite a bit, and I feel like it can harm me in a lot of ways because I spend too much time into it, and I also get a sense of, sort of a false sense of accomplishment when I play role-playing games. It's hard to explain it, but I don't really seek that accomplishment in real life because I'm getting all that false sense of accomplishment while playing a role-playing game. So I feel like, oh, I've done so much today. I leveled up this many times. I'm accomplished for today. My day is over. I don't have to do anything in real life because I've got that sense of accomplishment down. And I feel like I get addicted to that kind of stuff, and it's just too easy to fall into that trap. I played RuneScape like 10 years ago. Long before I was doing any sort of YouTube stuff. I was still in junior high or high school. I think it was junior high. I didn't play in high school at all because it wasn't cool. It wasn't the cool thing to do. So in junior high, yeah, I played it a lot, and I felt like I was lacking in other areas of my life because I was getting all the accomplishment I needed from a video game, and I felt that was very unhealthy for me, so I decided to basically not play role-playing games anymore. Or at least very, very limited amounts of role-playing games. And this is why I completely refuse to ever even try World of Warcraft. I don't want to get sucked into that sort of stuff. So that's just my opinion on it. I'm not saying that if you play role-playing games, then you're a loser that has a false sense of accomplishment. I'm just saying that's how it works for me. Next question is actually a really good one that I want to talk about a little bit. I've noticed your channel grew fairly quickly recently. Now that it's getting bigger, do you have any goals in the number of subscribers you want to achieve? And I want to talk about this because this is something that I feel can help in a lot of areas of people's lives. At least, once again, this is how it works for me. Everybody's a little bit different, but I find that setting goals isn't very healthy for me. especially things like YouTube. I see a lot of people on YouTube set goals for themselves, and every video they're telling their subscribers, this is my goal, this is my goal. I'm trying to reach that first 100 subscribers by the end of the month or something like that. And then if they fall short of that goal, they get really down on themselves and they lose a lot of motivation. And then a lot of times they'll just give up completely because they didn't reach that goal that they were going for. And that goal is just some arbitrary number that they came up with in their head. I don't feel it works for me to set goals like that. I do set sort of guidelines just so I can kind of plan for the future. So I can say, for instance, by the end of this year, with the recent growth and everything that I've seen, which is amazing, especially last week, it was ridiculous how much growth I had. I felt like I was dreaming the entire week. I feel like by the end of the year, I'll likely have 80 to 100,000 subscribers. That's just sort of my estimate. It's not something that's set in stone that if I don't reach that 80,000 subscriber mark that I'll like freak out or something like that or just give up on YouTube. That's just generally what I'm planning on. That's where I kind of see myself at that point. And I don't really worry about it too much. I focus more on the process and creating the best videos that I can create, and always constantly thinking of ways to improve my content or new series ideas or anything like that. Ways that I can basically improve my channel rather than focusing on a number and, oh, did I meet my quota of subscribers for this week? I don't worry about that. I worry about the process, and whatever happens, happens based on that process. Alright, the next question comes from Ronan O'Brien. Sorry if it's Ronan or Ronan. Once again, I don't know how to pronounce a lot of things. But what was your childhood like? And this is something that I almost feel a little bit guilty answering, because I know a lot of people have very tough childhoods. They have, I don't know, abuse, or even just their parents separate, or they live in poverty, like they have a hard time putting food on the table like their family does. And to be honest, I had a fairly privileged childhood. I had a great childhood, next to perfect childhood. And like I said, I almost feel guilty saying this. I feel like some spoiled kid, but it's the reality of it. I always grew up with a like middle to upper middle class family. We were never really rich, but we had money to do things, and we never had to worry about putting food on the table. My parents are still together today after I think like 27 or 28 years, something like that. Didn't have to deal with divorce. There were no deaths in my immediate family or anything that caused any issues. I did have a very privileged childhood, and I don't take that for granted. And like I said, I almost feel bad for saying that, because I know of so many people that go through a lot of issues with their childhood, and I didn't really have that. So I'm very grateful for it. I'll just say that much. Alright, moving on to a slightly less serious topic. Will you be doing spawn guides for Advanced Warfare? Absolutely. That's actually going to be a very big focus of mine, is the spawns. Just like in Ghosts, I'm going to be focusing on Advanced Warfare. I'm planning on innovating my series a little bit more. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but it's not going to be exactly the same spawn guides that you're used to in Ghosts. I'm planning on making it bigger and better than that. So, hope you guys are as excited as I am for that. The next one, I thought I would address again since a lot of you guys are new to the channel. Will you play with subscribers, and if so, on what console or consoles, and do you add subscribers as friends? I've had a lot of guys in the past week that are new to the channel that want to add me as a friend, but unfortunately, there are quite a few of you, and I can't add everybody as a friend. So I just decided I'm not adding subscribers as friends. That's just how it's going to be, and I hope you guys can understand that, but I do want to play with you guys. So the way that I play with people is through Twitter. Unfortunately, this is the only real practical way for me to play with you guys, for me to like announce that I'm going online now, and you guys can play with me, send me an invite, or send me a message and I'll invite you, something like that. So I do play with Twitter followers. I apologize if you can't get on Twitter or you don't have a Twitter, but that's the only way that really is practical for me to do this. I usually play Black Ops 2 with subscribers on Xbox 360. I am sort of planning in the future to do a little bit more Xbox One Ghosts with subscribers, but I haven't been doing that a whole lot lately, and that's just simply because I usually enjoy playing solo in Ghosts over playing in a party. But I do plan on sort of having a few little open lobbies playing with subscribers on Ghosts in the future. So make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link will be in the description below if you want to play with me. Holy crap, this video is getting really long, but let's move on to the next one real quick and we'll try and wrap this up fairly quickly. We'll do a few more questions. This one comes from Fatal Clouds. Can you make a setup video? I've been getting this requested a lot. I did a setup video like 2 years ago when I first started, and most of you guys haven't seen that. And not a whole lot's changed, but I have made a few changes, so I will actually do a setup video when I reach 50,000 subscribers, which should be, just looking at my growth, should be within the next month and a half, something like that. So I will have a setup video coming soon. The next one is something that a lot of people ask that are just starting a YouTube channel, or they have already started a YouTube channel, and basically it's, should I do an intro for my channel? Really quickly, short and sweet, I'll keep this as short as I can. If you're planning on being a serious YouTuber and planning on growing, yes, I feel you should have an intro because it reinforces your brand. And branding is very important with YouTube. You want to stand out, you want to be somebody that's memorable, and somebody that's easily recognizable on YouTube. Having said that, stay away from the long intros. All you need is like a 5-6 second intro. Basically, the shorter you can keep it while still getting your brand across, the better. If you have a 30-second intro, nobody's going to want to sit through that every single time they watch one of your videos. 5-second intro, it's not a big deal. By the time 5 seconds is up, it doesn't even matter. You're already into the video. So I would recommend keeping it as short as possible, but yes, intros can be very important. This next one is also something that gets asked quite a bit. Do you make any money from YouTube, and how much? So yes, I do make money off of YouTube. Just recently started making a decent amount of money, but I'm not going to talk about exactly how much I earn. I'll just let you know now that it is still below what minimum wage would be for the amount of hours that I put into YouTube. That's a great way to put it into perspective for you guys. The amount of hours I put into YouTube is insane. It's basically like a second full-time job for me. And if I were to work that out, the number of hours I put in for the amount of money I get back from that, it's below minimum wage. So just keep that in mind. I'm not getting rich off of YouTube. So that was actually the last question that I'm going to answer in today's video. If I didn't answer your question, I apologize. There's a good chance that I answered it in a previous Q&A. I have done, I believe, 11 or 12 of these Q&As now over the past year. So if you guys are interested in learning more about me or my thoughts and stuff, then go ahead and check out those older Q&A videos. I think I'll actually make a playlist, and I'll link you to that playlist down below if I remember to do that. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions for me, leave it in the comment section of this video, and I will try my best to answer it in the comment section of the next video. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys next time.